Hello everyone and welcome to my reaction to Solo Leveling episode 10. What is this? A picnic? So I'm watching on Crunchyroll as usual. It came out last night, but I'm watching on Sunday morning live on Twitch. Actually, it's Sunday afternoon, currently 2 p.m.-ish. In the live chat, we have Hunter, Modru, Vasilish, Kvert, the Blue Dragonfly, Hans is here, Dark Shadow, and Cherry cannot join us because she is at her brother's house and she can't do a watch along. So she'll be back later for games. So after this, just so that you guys know what I'm planning for a Sunday stream, it's usually One Piece, Solo Leveling. Then today I'm doing Apothecary, but eventually it'll be replaced by something else. I'm not sure what though. And games. So just for those of you who wonder, maybe I should join her Twitch streams, I would say yes, because even if sub-only chat is on sometimes, you can still watch along and have fun. And there's often gift subs being handed out like it's candy. So please feel free to join us on Twitch. The account name is the same as on YouTube. Okay, so here we are on the Crunchyroll, ready to watch the new episode of Solo Leveling. Let's go.
私はハンターの仕事をするには臆病すぎるみたいです。服しようとはしましたが、うまくいきません。本当なら A 級や B 級、せめて C 級レイドに参加するべきなのに、そこでジヌさんと知り合って、気づけばいつも手当てをしていたような気がします。最初は何度も怪我をされて、少し面倒でした。だけどジヌさんは必ず生き抜く人でした。一緒に食事に行く約束でしたよね。これお返しします。私引退することにしました。実家に帰ります。もし近くに寄られることがあったら連絡してください。案内しますね。
それじゃあその時にもう一度食事に誘います。
はい。
She's tall like a model. Wow. You should consider taking up modeling in a way. She was already so far away. I hope she heard me because I think she'd be great.
長生きしたければお気をつけください。この間のファンドンソク攻撃隊全滅事件、ファンドンソクの弟であるファンドンソハンター、あなたたちを狙っているかもしれない。中で何があったかなんて関係ありません。重要なのはファンドンソクが死に、あなたがあそこから生きて帰ってきたということ。相手が S 級ともなると法なんかでは制御できません。彼らは奇跡であると同時に災害に。
This is another important thing to take into consideration. Like the fact that, because we were having this conversation a while back about laws and how that is affected by a fictional world with different dimensions and blah, blah, blah. So we have to discuss the laws and stuff in context of the show. But also, obviously, we're welcome to share our opinions on what the law should be or how it should work, because it's just that, opinions. But this is an important thing to take into consideration, that even in the real world, there are certain people who are somehow above the law. Whether or not that's right or wrong, it is something to take into consideration. What do you do when you want to be a law-abiding citizen, but if someone else operates outside of the law and they are gunning for you, how do you remain law-abiding when they are not? That is quite the warning, right? Like, this guy is out for you and he's so powerful, your best thing for you is just leave the country. Like, think about all the kinds of revolutionary fighters that ended up changing the world for the better. Like, obviously some took advantage and didn't really care about justice. They just cared about chaos. I don't know. But there are some people who had to go against the law. Like, not every law is moral just because it's a law. That's another thing to consider, right? There's been many examples of laws that were very immoral. And what is our... Philosophers have been talking about this for a long time. Like, what is our duty towards unjust laws? How should we... There's a deep discussions there, but I don't... This is just the start of the episode, so let's go. That girl! Hoodie Girl! Excuse me. Just because she's short doesn't mean she's a kid. How do you know? I'm joking. The hoodie looks like something a 14-year-old girl might wear.
失礼じゃないですか。私もれっきとしたハンターなんですけど。
でも高校生だろ。ランクは E 級。
だから何ですか。
まあいい。どうせ外で待っててもらうだけだ。
それに外で待ってるだけで300万って。はい。レイド1回につき300万。ただし。
Wait. 3 million yen. How much is 3 million yen? I want to know. How much? Just give me a dollar. I understand dollars better than I know. No, I'm joking. 30. What? No, not Dominican peso. That was a mistake. Oh, now I put in Dominican peso. I don't know what a Dominican peso is. How much is 3 million yen? Research that. There we go. Okay, so it's 37,000. It's 377,000 rand. Can I go on a raid too? Oh my gosh. That's probably like 100,000. No, never mind. Not that. Let's just say 300. Wait. 300. 1, 2, 3. Divided by 18. I think it's like 166. No? $16,000. 666. That is sweet deal indeed.
カンテシクを倒して手に入れた隠密のルーン石。
Whoa.
よし、うまくいったみたいだな。
お待たせしました。
なんだよその格好。
イタリアの工房で作られた強化鎧フルセットです。これぐらいの備えは必要でしょう。兄貴、手を貸していただけますか。なんだか緊張しますね。
いや、まだ頭になんか。
And then there's me half the time in Baldur's Gate running around in my underwear. Actually, now that I think about it, I know this is not right, but I wouldn't have hired a bunch of alcoholics and given them 3 million yen. They will die. Some people, as much as I want everyone to have millions. To some people, giving them a lot of money is essentially just killing them off. Like, I really worry about these drunks with that much money. Because sometimes money can, if you don't know how to manage it, it can...
C 級レイドを D 級と E 級の2人でだと。逃げてきたか、運のいい野郎どもだ。
ゲートが閉じ始めた。
嘘だろ。ボスを倒せたのか。
the music!
皆さん、移動しますよ。今日は3カ所回ります。1日に900万稼ぐチャンスですよ。行かないんですか？
That's ridiculous. If I earned that much in one day, I would be gone for so long after that I couldn't even go to more raids.
兄貴、採掘終わりました。
了解。
Whoa.
じゃあ行ってくれ。
Stay alive, dude! That's your only job! I guess I'm mining. He wasn't hiding it. He just didn't need it until now.
姿を消して戦えるのは効率がいい。
Dash skill leveled up. Oh.
新スキル、上級探検術と急所スキル、なかなか使えるじゃん。
ここの分を回収したら終わりなので。
Who would hide a stealth skill? But we saw him break it like a while back. He only just used it, right? He broke it at the first raid that they did. So what I'm saying is he wasn't particularly hiding it from him. He just didn't need it until now, or he just hasn't used it until now. But sometimes some things I say, it's like, I was just joking with him, like, oh, he just didn't show you, he wasn't hiding anything. Like, I was just talking to the character.
少し休んでいてください。
あ、頼んだ。
Don't always take me literally.
面白いスキル。
I'll have a sign made. Just talking shit. Just talking shit.
今後は知能
Just talking shit.
ていかない今の俺の力は B 級以上 A 級未満といったところ、このままあのダンジョンに挑んでも大丈夫なのか。プレイヤーが要求レベルに到達
For
し
what?
ました。
C 級ゲートの参加許可のために1億5000万も使った奴らがいるのか。
最近 C 級ゲートが発生するたびに相場の倍以上で落札していく攻撃隊がいて、
友人法聞いたことない名前だな。
友人建設会長の次男だそうです。
ボンボンのおふざけにしては度が過ぎている。いや、このソンジヌって名前、確かこの前の20ダンジョン事件でも。
すみません。
The bunch of them playing cards. Maybe he can change his job to Bard that only wears underwear.
遅れました。思ったよりもマナ鉱石の回収に手間取っちゃって。さあ行きましょう。
疲れてるでしょう。運転変わりましょうか。
そうですか。
何？
別に。
ソンハンターは3度も大惨事に遭遇したのに無事だった。1つ目は20ダンジョンファンドンソク攻撃隊全滅事件。3つ目は監視下ハンターによる服役囚殺害事件。再覚醒者じゃなければ説明がつかないだろう。
Or it could be a very, very fortunate coincidence. No, 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 no,
新
no.
人をスカウトしに行くんだ。
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
まるで遠足じゃないか。
ここ立ち入り禁止区域ですけど。
ああ、ごめんごめん。ハンターのような人たちが集まっていたからつい気になって。君もこの攻撃隊に？
Uh-oh.
ソンハンター、攻撃隊を置いて自分たちだけで潜ったのか。確ければ久し
Even bigger than that. What's that?
ぶりの大物、いや超大物だ。
Maybe he doesn't mean that. He just meant like he could be a huge find. Even bigger than that. Even bigger than a huge find. Like a huge, huge, huge find. But it sounds more like it could be, based on the English translation, it even bigger than that. But depending on the Japanese, it might just be a huge find. No, even bigger than a huge find. A huge find. I don't know. I feel like that would have been bold, but everything is in italics, and you can't bold subtitles, so I'm not sure. Can someone help me? Is he saying bigger than that, or just bigger than a huge find? Chomono. Wait, I think I can figure it out. See? Omono, no. Chomono. So I think it just means bigger than a big find. Like, cho ikemen.
もう行くんすか課長。
明日の予定ってどんな感じ？休養を思い出したんだけど休めないかな。
明日ですか。お待たせしました皆さん。さあ次へ行きましょう。
Oh, that's the memory of that island. What a dream.
またあの夢か。
PTSD.
いいよいいよ。
Actually, that's something that has been happening often recently. Even in Frieren, and before that, in one of the recent episodes of this show, Solo Leveling, I almost said Jujutsu Kaisen. People, like, I knew about which island they, because it wasn't that long ago that episode 1 happened, right? And I knew what island they meant, but a lot of people in the comments, or I knew, let's say I knew what situation it was referencing, and then a lot of people explained it to me. I'm not sure why they thought I didn't know. Maybe I said something that was misinterpreted, but recently people have been explaining things that are very obvious, but it's not obvious to everyone, but I just felt like, I know. Like sometimes you see something and you don't say anything about it because you know what they mean. But then afterwards people like to explain it just to make sure that I know, and then I'm like, oh, thank you. Oh.
突然申し訳ございません。ソンハンター。はじめまして。白虎ギルド第二管理課の改めて説明する必要もないでしょうが、我々白虎ギルドはこの国におけるトップレベルのギルドです。友人建設の2倍をお約束いたしますので、白虎ギルドに来ていただけませんか。条件面に関してもソンハンターのご希望に添えるようにいたし。
白虎ギルドのビルって一体いくらなんですか？
あ、 だいたい500億ほどでしょうか。
それをくださるってことですかね。
申しますと。
Oh, because of he doesn't realize what. Oh my gosh, this dude. He's basically me at the mall. Like, I love mall at the mall. Like, if you're sitting at the restaurant and having a coffee and there's just like people watching. Generally, it's just interesting to see all different kinds of people walk by. But every now and then, there's a handsome man or a pretty girl, and then you're like, hey, did you see?
友人建設が報酬として提示してきたのは300億のビルです。
いや。
しかし、それはそこまでの額になりますと私一人では上の人間と話し合ってから。
それじゃあ、そうだ、それより僕のことは誰からお聞きになったんですか。まさか隠れて調べたんじゃないでしょうね。
That's quite intimidating, isn't it? He's obviously trying to scare him off because I think a lot of his plan will change when more people find out about him.
これは隠密スキル。友人検察が提示した金額にも納得がいく。悪気があったわけではないのです。
振り返らないで。
ダンジョンの買い占めによって新人の訓練が行えず、社の規定で彼らを実戦投入できません。孫ハンター。
This is a good way for him to learn information about what they're doing wrong, because if he picked up on this, more people will pick up on it. So he could adjust his, like maybe not do 3 raids a day, but 2 or even 1 sometimes, just to throw people off. But the way that he's going about it, I mean, I can't particularly approve.
僕のことを知っている人は他にどれくらいいます？
私と部下の一人だけです。形式上ギルド長に報告する義務がありますが、部下にもしっかり口止めしておきます。
ありがとうございます。うちが C 級を独占しご迷惑をおかけしていたんですね。でも申し訳ありませんが、しばらくは続けるつもりです。それなら取引をしませんか。こちらが予約している C 級ゲートを3つお売りします。
まるで煽り文句だな。だがわかりました。おいくらですか
？1つあたり3億で。
3億 ?C 級ゲートで手に入るマナ鉱石と魔法石はせいぜい2億相当です。せめて2億まで下げていただけませんでしょうか。
いいでしょう。商談成立です。C 級ゲート3つ合計6億で。
ではそれで。
それとこちらを差し上げます。目を閉じて口を開けていただけますか？大丈夫。危害は加えません。
Is it gonna heal his?
嘘だろ。傷が消えた。
では。
ここまで見せて。
It's a tough world. It's almost like it's not outright a war, because you know how people negotiate during war, and even nowadays when one president and another president meet and there's like shows of power in a sense, but obviously it's much more subtle than like there's these subtle threats, but they're not gonna fucking cut the guy on the face. But it seems to me like that level of strategizing, and it's because if word about him gets out, I understand the trouble that means for him. But that doesn't give him the right to like threaten someone's life. He healed the scratch, but he still threatened someone's life in a sense. The story is I understand why some people don't like the story, because, it's just this guy and he keeps getting stronger. Like, some people don't like it. But the moral and ethical discussions that it entails are interesting by themselves, even without discussing power level stuff. Because it kind of presses on your own moral buttons, thinking like, what are you willing to say is okay considering the context? Because obviously context matters, since, for example, murder is murder, right? You kill someone, you kill them, but we all have limits to like, okay, well, what about self-defense? But what kind of self-defense is allowed? What does the situation have to be? Like, if we talked about this before as well, so our limits are all different, and I've talked about how important it is to discuss these laws and what our society should apply. And even then, just because a society has discussed something and made it a law doesn't mean that it's necessarily just, and blah blah blah. And this is another thing, because each individual person will have different lines in the sand. Like our lines will be drawn at different places. And I mean, it's not like we can get to one exact perfect right answer because we're all living together and we all interpret things differently and have different beliefs which influence our thoughts on morality. But that's why I like the idea of like a jury, because then you have all these different people that discuss it. But then you have to think, are regular people even qualified? It's quite interesting. Maybe he should job change to salaryman so he can understand where this guy's coming from. It's clearly more than that, and I like it. Don't tell that to him. It's a secret. How do you think a subordinate is going to keep the secret? You know how subordinate people, when I say subordinate, I mean lower level salarymen people. They love to gossip around the water cooler. You have to make sure this guy can keep the secret. Wow. He turned that around for his own benefit. I like this guy and I appreciate the fact, because let's say, even if someone does bad things, if the other person doesn't mind it, you can kind of think like, they have a good rapport going. He understands him, he understands him. There's kind of like so I don't feel too bad about what he did, but at the same time, that doesn't really matter when it comes to the law, whether one guy accepts it or not, right? And doesn't mind it So I still don't like the fact that he used his hunter powers to kind of fear a regular citizen, but at the very least we can say, well, this guy's having fun. It seems like it's almost as if this is his line of work and he's used to it, but that doesn't make it right or wrong. I'm just saying, at least that makes me feel better about it. Ooh, it's gonna be a good episode next week. I mean, I love episodes like this, but apparently other people don't love episodes where nothing happens, even though some things happened. But according to other people, apparently, that like the show, unless there's a big fight and, amazing visuals the whole episode through, then nothing happened. Damn, from 70 million, he sold it to him for 200. Damn. I didn't 110% understand all the numbers, and because he said 6 million. I read 6 million somewhere, and then he was like something about the stones and 200 million. So then that amounts to 600 million. But then it was worth 70 million. I don't care. I can understand what he did without understanding exactly what he did. Like, I understand the end result enough to... But I'm sure there are going to be some people that can explain the thing, line by line, number by number. Okay. Next episode is going to be fire. Early peak watchers. I feel like, I'm not going to read it out loud, but I feel like the top comment is a kind of a spoiler, not just for the episode, because usually comments on Crunchyroll, the spoiler comments should be spoilers about the episode. But this one kind of, I think, spoils the next episode, but it's just a name, so it doesn't really matter to me. But I would personally flag this as a spoiler. Action unavailable with hidden comments. What do you mean action? There we go. Report comment. I would say that that's a spoiler for the following stuff. But it's just a name, so it's not too bad. I just think that it shouldn't be allowed. See, this one is also spoiler marked, but it just says, I wish I had a job where I could just wait outside having a relaxing picnic with some random people. So that's a spoiler about the episode, and that's why it's spoiler marked. But to be fair, I guess who reads the comments before they watch the episode anyway? So I just won't click the spoiler ones anymore. I just thought the spoiler ones are about this episode still. Just your casual, everyday, dungeon grinding picnic. Nothing to worry about over here. Now walk away and pretend you saw nothing. His life and his family could be in danger if he reveals his secret, and it's almost a parallel to what Taishik did. He could just threaten him without killing him like Jinwoo did. Who's Taishik? I still don't think it's okay to threaten people's lives and harm them physically, even if you can magically fix it. I still don't think that makes it right. Taishik is the guy he got stealth from. I'm not sure what you're getting at, Rav, but I feel like just because his family is in danger doesn't give him the right to threaten average people's lives. Like, he has way too much power over that guy to just be like you can ask, or you can intimidate someone without cutting their cheek or telling them like, I'll kill you if someone finds out. Like, like I already said, I feel like it doesn't make it right or wrong what he did. To me, I think that it was wrong, but I feel better about it since the guy seems to be like, this is his line of work. But still, I don't think that it's objectively correct or morally correct, I should say. But that doesn't matter because the guy's fine with it, how things went down. Obviously, I guess your perspective means that for you, since his family's lives are on the line, that makes it okay. So maybe that's kind of the point that you're making. But that creates a lot of issues regarding other things. Like, what are you now allowed to do just because you believe your family's life is on the line, right? What should we write off as, oh, that's fine, just because you said, oh, well, my family's life is on the line? Yeah, there's a lot of complications with a general belief like that. But still interesting to think about. And 100% if it's your feeling that certain people are allowed to do certain things when their family's lives are threatened. The problem is that what really threatens his family's life is that other red-headed guy. This guy, I'm sure that he could have made his point otherwise, personally. Interesting episode. I like the interaction between those two. They seem to respect each other and their methods. A bit of a shame the girl retired. Oh well. I also really like the dream PTSD the guy had and the animation. I'm actually really interested. Sorry, the typo. I'm actually really interested about that Jeju Island. So he's planning some kind of a recon mission there. So since it was sealed off basically because I guess after what happened, they don't think anyone could deal it. So they just kind of pretend like it doesn't exist. He doesn't want to pretend. He wants to kind of like get vengeance, revenge, or not, but closure, I would say. So yeah, a lot of interesting things in the episode. Good progression, despite, a lack of action at some people's annoyance, I would say. Lots of interesting discussions. I guess you could also argue that what he did, the scout guy, what he did spying on Jin and the kind of going to him and maybe what he did was also wrong because it violates privacy and whatnot. But that's another thing. Like, just because one person did one thing wrong doesn't give you the right to do something wrong back. Especially considering they found out by themselves with no one telling them. Of course, more people could find out in the same way. So for him to then assume it's them and then threaten their lives as a result, it feels a bit like it crosses a line for me personally. But once again, I'm not going to overthink it because this guy seems fine with it. So for now, I'm just like, whatever. It did show him kill goblins and a snake. That should be enough action for those people. Yeah, there was killing. Be happy. But yeah, I agree with Vasilich that the interactions themselves, the bargaining, even the scamming. So actually, how he got even with him for spying was not the threatening and the cut and whatever. It was the spying. So that's how he kind of fought fire with fire in a sense. Scamming him, but I don't care about that. I don't care about the scamming part so much. Even though that in and of itself is a whole other moral discussion. Like, should you be allowed to knowingly make deals that are unfair and blah, blah, blah? Like, generally, because people do that, like big bosses, they often manipulate and scam people because the other person has less power, less knowledge, and therefore is easy to manipulate. Whereas he was from the other side. Like, imagine the employer scamming the billionaire, the employee scamming the billionaire employer. So like power balance, it matters. And we're not talking about physical power here. We're talking about like the one is part of a multi-billion-dollar corporation, and they're just an up and coming, and he actually managed to scam him as for a change, because usually it's the other way around. So yeah, so much interesting things happening. Han says the episode is an 8 out of 10. I think I would agree. 7.5, 8, 7.5. My standards for the show are pretty high. I do feel also sad about the girl leaving, but I definitely don't think that that's going to be the last we see of her. But it is sad to see her go, like to give up. I'm happy that he didn't, even pep talk her or anything, because obviously this is her life on the line. If he convinces her to keep trying and she dies in a dungeon, that's a whole other thing. That's just business. Yeah, ethics in business. That is a whole other line of ethics. Ichuili, thank you. I also like how we can see Song's intelligence leveling up step by step and how he handles tricky situations. Oh yeah, he did in this episode say something about he should put more points into intelligence or something like that now that he's gotten so much stronger. It makes me want to play Baldur's Gate. my characters are so close to level 10. But today is Star Rail Day, so. Hi, Nox. Anyway, I'll end it here. I'm sure that is more than enough discussion to keep everyone... I think that's more than enough discussion to keep people talking. Like, sometimes it's good to share your opinion, and then someone obviously will, many people, if you're making YouTube videos, many people will then come back with their own criticisms, their own opinions, counterpoints, and as long as they're being civil about it, it's always fun, because then you talk, and then sometimes if you don't have that back and forth, your own thoughts and feelings don't get refined, right? So through discussion, we're able to actually refine and make better points, and that's why I'm looking forward to stop talking here and hear from you guys. I'll see you then next time.